Is it 6 o'clock yet?
Straight up.
Hey, we're gonna call this meeting to order because this is what I think the third actual meeting we've had all year, which kind of, it's not good, but better than none. And this is my last one because my term ends and I'm gonna try to get back on the committee, but we'll see what happens. And then you want to call roll for me, Brian?
Yeah, let me real quick here. Councilor Forcum, you're here. Very sweet. Trudy Hammond. Cameron Anderson is sitting here with me. Don Christ, I don't see him. And David Christ, I don't see. The Chief of Police, I believe, just dialed in. Are you there, Kevin? I know that's your number. And Scott Hollett said he was going to be a little late, but he'll be here. No one here from Westford, and Peggy from the school district is here. So that's the roll.
So Brian,
Okay. Was there anything we need to discuss, Brian, that's not on the list, or did you want to start?
I'll just give you a quick update if you want. I think it's in front and center right now is a COVID status, if you want to hear it for the committee.
Yeah, that'd be kind of. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. Just keep top of that. That could be something that they can go forward with and keep track of.
Yeah. So lifetime for Oakridge right now is sitting at 47 on the website this afternoon. We had a hot spot here at the fire department, which is more than one case. We have so far we've had a total of 6 positives, and some of the positive, we had 12 in quarantine, but as they test positive, they come off quarantine and go into isolation. So 6 positives, and I think we're sitting at 8 in quarantine right now, and that's due to the fact they were in close proximity to someone that popped and had symptoms. So you have to mandate that they go into quarantine. So it's obviously had some stress on staffing here at the fire department, but I think we're on the other side of it because all those quarantine folks they're testing clean or coming off of quarantine, and some of the isolation folks that were asymptomatic are also coming off. We've had 1 or 2 that have had some really significant symptoms. So we're, obviously watching that closely and taking care of them. The city actually had to fund an isolation for one of the individuals because they had children at home they didn't want to expose. But obviously the city covers, if it was contracted at work, the city covers all the medical expenses and the testing and all that goes on. Outside the fire department, we've had 2 positives that are already out of isolation. Had a couple of scare calls where they were feeling bad and we sent them home and they got tested negative. So, we're being pretty conservative. And the city staff we're singled up front at City Hall, so there's only one person at a time, so we can maintain that sort of separate offices and not have to wear a mask 24/7. But it's still, we still got a ways to go. So that's kind of a status there. As far as other things that are not on the agenda, I don't see it other than I do have the annual plan that Trudy developed, and we can take a look at it at some point and see if anybody has anything to add or subtract from it before. I want to take it to council on the new council on the first meeting. Just it's kind of a nice handoff when you think about it. Here's what the committees have been doing for the past year, and let them have some input on maybe what to do next year. Other than that, I'll hand it over to you, Paul, and see where you want to go. I've got the old business up. Can everyone see the agenda?
yes.
Okay. So that's kind of the old business that's been, like you said, on the old business for a long time since we haven't met. We've only met 3 times. So, Chief,
Yeah.
can you hear me yet?
Yeah, can you guys hear me now?
Yep. Got
We
you loud.
can
Can
hear
you
you
guys?
now.
So for old business, the first thing is the neighborhood watch update, which I think is going to be pretty quick because it's kind of gone into hibernation with COVID because they've been unable to do outreach. Is that a correct statement, Chief?
Yeah, as far as PD side's been concerned, it's been kind of hard to do that since COVID and not being able to get groups of people together. We have done some individual stuff, kind of a side note from Neighborhood Watch, but working on some volunteers to hopefully here by the first of the year, or a little after, work on some volunteers for animal control stuff and volunteers to do some radar stuff and to move cars around.
Cameron has a question, so what is it? I'll try to repeat it. I don't have a microphone for you, but. You're still on the list? Yeah. So Chief, Cameron's question was, she signed up in the very beginning for the list, for the volunteer list. I would assume she's still on the list. Is that you think it's a correct statement?
Yes, I would assume so. Did she sign up for the Neighborhood Watch or the CET? For the CERT, excuse me. For both?
Yep.
Okay, she should still be on the list.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just, no, they haven't done much work on it, so you probably haven't heard for that reason, because the coordinator is really kind of not really taking it on yet.
Okay.
No, they have a coordinator. It's Councilor Kenyon right now, I believe. Is that right, Chief? The coordinator is Kenyon?
Coordinator for Neighborhood Watch is, yes, is Councilor Kenyon. CERT was the coordinator for that, was going to be an intern from the Patience Whittingham was getting for that. And I don't know. I'll have to confer with her on that. I haven't got back to her in a while on that. I know she had some applicants and she didn't like any of them. So then all the fires started. So I think that probably got kicked down the road a bit for them.
No. I don't know. I don't understand what you're saying. There's been no action taken, so there's no Patience hasn't come forward with the intern that's going to coordinate the CERT for Patience is the county emergency management person. So. All right. Any other questions on Neighborhood Watch? Pardon me just a sec. There's someone down in here. RR Knight are you here for public safety or the warming center?
I'm just here to listen.
For public safety or about the warming center?
Both.
Well, they're both going simultaneously, so you'll have to choose one.
Whatever. I just thought I'd tune in. I apologize.
Sure. No, you're fine. We're happy to have you. Just I want to make sure you weren't here for the warming center discussion that they're having on a separate room.
No, nothing separate. No, I just wanted to listen to what you guys had to say.
Happy to have you here. Thanks.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So if there's nothing else on Neighborhood Watch, 3.2 is the civil defense siren that council has mandated that we look into. I know that Cameron found some stuff on eBay, was it? eBay. Yeah. Which was relatively inexpensive, but what we have to do is really determine what the other requirements are. In other words, do you want to, obviously be able to control it remotely? Does it need a test capability? Like a tsunami thing that goes off at noon, and those kind of specifications. So, do you want to have discussion over that, or does someone want to take it on as a? I know that. Did you connect with Aaron? Or Trudy did, maybe. I don't know. Mm-hmm. Right. Sure.
Yeah. Can you fill us in what they're saying there, because we can't hear any of them.
Sorry. Maybe can we move over here and put the spacing? I think if you're facing the computer, you might be heard. Um, yeah. Yeah. So Cameron mentioned that she had done some study on the range.
Range, yes.
Yeah, of the siren, and it kind of, which is kind of determine how many do we really need, and depending on who we want to cover, because I know that Hazeldale's, the fire protection district, is interested in this as well. So so I guess as a way forward, and I'll leave it up to the committee, does someone want to take it on, or do you want to just discuss it and throw it to the staff? It's up to you guys. Obviously, it comes at a cost.
Paul and I had a small discussion outside of the 24-hour market, and he is pretty in tune with what I was describing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's a great candidate.
Paul Corkin? Candidate for what?
Like doing more research.
Oh.
And for development, unless moving into
I guess the only problem would be he's got 3 weeks before he's no longer a counselor, and he's not yet a civilian member, but he could still do it if he's willing to. I don't know. Are you up for doing more research, Paul?
Not at this point. If she wants to continue and maybe even get with the Hazeldale
okay.
board or whatever it is, or go through you and get a hold of them, and maybe they can work together with 1 or 2 of the committee members if they want, and see what they can do, and then come bring it to one of the next meetings.
Easy peasy. The only barrier I would see is we need like a remote detonator. I call it a tactical. It's not a detonator per se that it's going to blow something up, but like a remote switch that
Controls
like
it.
Transmitter. So when I said transmitter to the tactical office, they say Radio Shack. But Radio Shack, I don't believe is going to provide us with like a DOS type of detonator system that we would need to go through the radio waves and link up with something that's like 20 feet high or 10 to 20 feet tall. So that's my only barrier. So if I mentioned these detonators, suggestions, well, I haven't gone any farther other than what I've just laid down.
Mm-hmm.
But that's my only barrier that I would see, because the range in itself is only the sound wave, in which is equivalent to a gunshot, I would say. And so that being stated, we would want it up high with like a tap on it to push it down through the mountains, like up by the airport. So we would need 2 minimum fire sirens or civil sirens. One close to I would suggest by the airport, if we can find like an easement road and put it up on a simple post, like a 4x4 post with a metal cap so it doesn't get wet. And it'll also push the sound waves down. So it goes to the backside of West first, because we can handle the inside during an evacuation easier than we can run it around the dam area and west. So if we put them on the outskirts, like by the shooting range on an easement road and over by the airport, then those sound waves could travel in areas that would be hard for us to get to.
Right.
And we can have like a transmitter post at the bottom of the post, or relatively tall enough where somebody would have to put a ladder up and we would notice if they're trying to get in.
Right.
Hey, okay. I can see Trudy's got her hand up. Was there something you wanted to say, Trudy?
Yeah, I was wondering if maybe Cameron would be interested in giving Aaron Reynolds a call in Florence, because they have 4 sirens set up in their system. And I think that she would be a great resource for some additional information. And great job, Cameron, with the research you've done so far. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Brian, can we make sure that maybe we can get a hold of the Hazeldale board or whatever we need to, and try to get them on board, or fill them in what we're doing?
Yeah, they're on board. And I meet with them every month, because we run their sort of board meetings for them. I think it's a little premature right now. I mean, let's figure out what the system's going to look like and then pull them in. The other thing is that patients actually I think I sent it to you, is they are going to establish a county-wide evacuation plan. And so this is going to be coordinated with us. We're going to participate in the workup to it. So I'm sure as part of that, and I've already kind of expressed some initial concerns that Oakridge had, and then one of them was notifications, and with other things. So as that progresses, I think that we'll eventually get there with the county as well, who really has responsibility over the Hazeldale area, as well as the surrounding areas that are outside city limits. So, yeah, we'll press forward on it. The funding piece, right now it doesn't look too expensive, but as you get into the remote access and that kind of thing, it might drive the price up. So we'll keep an eye on it and see what we have to give up to in order to fund it.
My book,
Yeah.
my book for DOS for Dummies might not cover the programming for airway.
Hey, Brian, I'm wondering if there's some kind of grants or something that the city can get to help pay for this, or do you know anything like that?
Yeah, there's all sorts of hazard mitigation grants that FEMA sponsors that might very well cover something like that. It's just
The Corps of Engineer Army Corps of Engineer have any kind of a grant?
I've never seen anything specifically, but I don't know that they don't have anything like that.
We would only need from them.
Okay, yeah, that going out for grants or something like that, and then having Cameron keep on top of this would, maybe in a couple months we should be moving a little forward.
Yeah.
I serve on a committee where, I serve on a committee where I have people from Florence, and they said when they test their system, it's with a chime so that you can tell the difference between a test and the real thing. I thought that was really interesting. That kind of a system would be cool.
Yeah, that's a good, maybe she can go ahead and get a hold of that person. Yeah, maybe get a rough idea about how much their system costs.
Yeah, Aaron Reynolds is the city manager of Florence, and that's, they have 4 in place.
Let me give Erin a call. I talk with her regularly as a fellow city manager. So I'll see if she has any specs on her system and who actually operates it and maintains it for her, and it'll be a good resource for us.
Awesome.
Cool. And then, okay, so we'll do that, and we'll figure out what you guys are doing for the next meeting on this. We just keep this on, part of old business, and see what the updates are as we get them.
Yep.
Okay, and the other one is the law enforcement ordinance review update.
So the chief and I are currently in the middle of making changes. What we did is the city attorney gave us some examples from Springfield, which he considers a better ordinance, a better written ordinance. And so we're taking our ordinances and trying to make them more representative of what Springfield has or other examples. So my thought was when we're done with that effort, we hand them over to the committee to review for any additions or concerns.
That sounds like a good idea once we get it done. Are we looking at a timeline somewhere, or are we just waiting?
It's probably me that's the delay. I just don't have enough hours in the day right now, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay, yeah, as long as we keep it on there and it's
Yep.
something coming up, that sounds kind of good to probably go over some of those new ordinance and stuff.
Yeah. Chief, do you have anything to add to that?
No, there was some that we had talked about, and there was some that my officers have talked about to bring forward as well. And I think a piece of that is some of those ordinances will have to be changed with a charter change. And I think weren't we talking about doing that at a time when the election costs were free to us instead of a cost?
Yeah, right now, in the admin committee, they're targeting November of 22 for a charter change, I believe. Because it's going to take so long to get there, and then you don't want to have to do a double majority, so you put it in November. If that makes sense.
And then you have on here evacuation plan. Is that one just for the city of Oakridge, or are you talking about the Lane County or statewide one or whatever?
I kind of wanted to introduce that idea that Lane County actually has a consultant that is producing theirs, and it came as a result of the wildfires up in Holiday Farm Fire, and so they are really adamant about getting a real good evacuation plan in place. And again, I reached out and offered our assistance because we were sort of doing the same exact thing, and we have ours in place, but it's just really kind of a sketching of an evacuation plan. This would fill it out and maybe be an annex to their evacuation plan is what I would hope. So I've given her our primary concerns, which are notification, limited evacuation routes, and more than just one possible hazard other than fire. We're also concerned about a dam or a railroad incident. So that's what I relayed to her, and like I said, we're gonna be an active member of as they develop this working group. So I just want to make the committee aware of that and where we stand.
Okay, and then we got 4.0 new business. Is there any new ones we need to discuss? Anybody want to bring something up? Go ahead, Trudy.
Well, I was kind of wondering about the, well, actually, I was impressed with seeing some of the businesses providing the sanitation and sanitization, I guess is what they have, like Dollar General got one in there now. And, but I was also wondering about, for the animals if I could just back up one for the evacuation plan, does the city of Oakridge also include an animal rescue for the evac? I know they're probably low on the priority list, but not mine. They're number one on mine.
They weren't included in the kind of one that I cobbled together quickly, but
Okay.
Obviously in the long term, as we work with Lane County, we'll look at the pet annex.
I'd love to help with that.
Okay.
Keep me in mind.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
But as far as you mentioned the sanitation stuff, so that we've been, the chamber actually has been helping distribute some of that stuff to local businesses. So Business Oregon got to use some of their coronavirus relief fund to buy a bunch of gloves, liquid sanitation cleaning solution, masks, those standalone stations, and wet wipes. So they've distributed them to cities all over Oregon. So we've taken delivery of one, and then we saw kind of what's going faster. So now we've got a second order in, which should be delivered tomorrow. And I'm warehousing it over at the old Public Works building. But if anyone wants to help in the effort to go around to businesses and offer this stuff, Linda Kammerer has been doing most of it as the president of the chamber. But we still have, she can't do it all. So she's going to provide me a list with who she's already hit up, and then if I can distribute that if anyone wants to get on board and offer some sanitation equipment to some of the businesses that haven't been asked yet.
Yeah, I'd be more than happy to join the list in helping.
Okay. Yep.
Thank you.
Right.
Okay, so there's no other new business or anything anybody needs to bring up in 4.0?
I do have one thing, and that's the annual report. Do you want to look at that?
The report for the committee, there really ain't gonna be much on it, is there?
No, I'll show you.
Or,
Does that show
okay.
up now? Can you see it?
I think it's a great.
yeah, I can see it.
I just have one issue, and that's the goals. The goals being different from the resolution.
The new resolution?
Right. So if our goals are different on our report,
Mm-hmm.
then nobody's going to meet those goals except for people with a heads up or whatnot.
So we just need to paste in the new goals that were in the new
The
resolution?
goal should be the same exact thing as in the resolution. New goals are different, but a
I
report,
must have an old resolution because those came straight from the resolution.
Did you get it off the
Those came
website?
straight from, no, from the resolution that I received in, that's signed and dated by Kathy and Jackie.
We've got two right in a row is a thing. We did one when I first got here, and then we just passed an update to it about a month ago, close to a month ago. So we can figure it out. I can change that and put the new goals in for the new resolution
Okay,
before I send it to council, if we're all in agreement.
Yeah. Definitely need to check on that
Because,
and make sure that match.
we haven't been advising on fiscal budget.
Right. So I guess the important thing that I'm sure the new council is going to be interested in is committee projects for 2021. So I would say if you look at our old business, that's probably what our projects are for
Right.
for
So
2021. In other words,
a report for the previous year should include the same goals as was set in that year. And then the new goals going out would be a report for the following year.
right.
Because otherwise nobody really meets those goals set in the previous year.
Right. Unless they've been completed, they should flow over into the next year.
Right.
Right.
So the new resolution goes for the goals in the next year. The old resolution are included in the report for this year.
No, I mean, the resolution's overarching policy goals,
Right.
but as a committee, you need to come up with some hard and fast stuff like neighborhood watch or civil defense siren. That's kind of a yearly goal,
Right.
but the actual resolution goals never change. They're consistent.
Right.
Yeah, they're consistent. They never change. It's just like a guide, what do you want to say, a guidance where we
Right.
want to,
Like
the
our
stuff we want to
advice-
do. And all the other stuff is just stuff that we are looking at.
Projects, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
that's the
Our-
word, project.
Our advisory goals, we haven't been advising on the goal topics that are stipulated in the current report, nor have we been asked to. And so if somebody looks at that and says, well, why hasn't anybody done anything that is in this goal, then it hasn't been stipulated during the entire year, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's an unusual time. Having only met 3 times, how can you really accomplish much of anything? But
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's,
a serious thing because people can be let go because nothing's being done according to the goals that are set forth in the report, when those goals haven't been addressed prior to in the original resolution and or requirements. However, I like the new goal set, but it's for the future goals. So if there's some way that we can put in our new resolution and planning in the report according to those new goals. Like the
well,
timing.
actually, if you wanted to put that we passed a new resolution in the goals for next year, and some of them are being met in the future, and some of them,
Right, something similar to show that people are transitioning or whatnot. I don't know exactly what terms you would want to use in that, but I do know that it doesn't match. Which is not, it's not Trudy's issue. It's what is being put forth to whatever it is she copied on the site. I think it's an outstanding layout. Very good job, yes.
yes, I like it. And just go forward, and then, I mean, this is just what he's going to tell the council, that
Right.
So I don't think any of the committees actually, they all have long-term goals, which would be forever. And some of them, some stuff that they've done and some stuff that had got canceled, and basically, I think it's on track at the moment.
Right, well, just put some of those things that we haven't been addressing as long-term goals, otherwise it looks like nobody's really done anything. I mean, it makes us look like we're feathery.
I think you're going to pass this year.
Okay,
I do. I just, given the very unusual pandemic circumstances and the inability to meet consistently, I think we'll be, I don't think we're going to get fired as a committee. But.
Yeah, and it's only been like a half year anyway. We even started the committee. I
Right,
think it was-
brand new committee, actually. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, we didn't stand up
Yeah.
till what, March? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
After that, you had a bunch of people that quit.
I guess the other thing as we move into the next year is, I believe Don Chris actually moved away, didn't he? Does anyone know for sure?
Yeah, but
I believe he did move. I believe he sold his house in Westford and he moved.
Okay.
That's what I understand.
so then in order for them guys, you guys to get a quorum now, you're still gonna need 4. And without the other Chris, you guys only have, there's only 4 people.
Right.
We're gonna put some out there, put a word.
Well,
out there for-
I need as a secretary, I need some way to keep track of people.
Yeah, I can send you a link to a shared spreadsheet that has all the
I
committees.
know when they're here, I don't.
Yeah.
because If they're reporting to you, I still think they're still around, just not to me. And I do know that if we choose to miss 3 meetings, then we relinquish all rights to the meeting.
Mhm.
And actually that'll be up to the chairperson. You can be excused. So it doesn't matter how many meetings really. I mean, it does, but it
Right,
doesn't.
exactly. And that's true too, which is what I'm saying. I would need as a secretary, if I were to write something up that's not labeled for Paul because it said for Paul to do this, then I have no idea who's sitting on. I have no way to be a backup paper writer. I have no way to transcribe anything without a current list.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
that is the current list as it stands now. That's in Trudy's. Yep. And the only other person, David has participated in the beginning, but I haven't seen him for probably 4 or 5 attempted meetings. I don't know if anyone knows the status there, but something we'll have to take up, I guess, next year with the new chairperson.
Pretty. Oh, Trudy.
So,
Yeah, so basically you guys are gonna need 1, 2, well, the counselor will take my position, would take the one I have, and you guys still need, you gotta be 7. So how many more are they gonna need? 3 more?
6 members and 1 council person.
So yeah, so you're still gonna need 3 more.
So can they dissolve it if we don't have enough meetings?
I don't think they have a desire to dissolve it, but I mean, council can do whatever they want. You're a council appointed committee. So, all right, we'll get the ad. I think the ad's already on the street, but we'll change the numbers and reflect how many we think we need, and hopefully get some participants out there. Peggy, I guess I'll ask you from the school system. Do you have any concerns from public safety as far as?
No, I don't have any concerns, but I just thought I would mention, because the committee may not know that the district was awarded a seismic retrofit grant,
Right.
2.5 million, and we are in the process of remodeling the locker rooms to incorporate a multi-purpose room that would be used for shelter in the event of, let's say, we had a week of snow again. And we're also putting in a new generator that will run for at least 5 days, that will heat the building, and the cafeteria will be able to be used. And so it started. We're hopefully should be done by the end of this school year, maybe the end of the summer. And then, if anybody ever wants to get a look at it, they could just come by and we can give the superintendent is always willing to give tours.
That's great news. That's
It
I
is
was,
great news.
yeah, it's kind of been on the beginning when they first put in the application, and that's a great thing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's paired with some of our bond funds, this 2.5 million seismic grant, and then we got a $600,000 grant from the USDA. So that's how it's all being funded.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I have one more thing about the goals. It states on the fourth dot down, to facilitate Oakridge community involvement. That means to teach. Now, on both resolutions, it says evidence to act as an ambassador, which means to greet people. Now, facilitate means that we are actually to instruct people. So there's actually two different meanings. So if what is it we want to instruct?
It's up for discussion. I've always thought facilitate was to sort of manage a discussion between two different entities to ensure success. Kind of like what our strategic plan did, where we had a contractor come in and facilitate it. I've never seen it referred to as instruction, but maybe that's the other meaning of it. So I don't know. I guess I'll leave that up to the committee to decide what they want to do with that particular goal.
Because that's a little bit, I mean, either way, they're both good. It just acting as an ambassador has less responsibility, one would say, as far as the output result.
And maybe this new council will have some idea on how they want to pursue some of that goal, you know, for individual tasks under that goal.
Right, there would be
Yeah.
more assignments when
Yeah.
the term facility is used. So
Yeah.
that was one of my major issues there. Because if I am to facilitate, that was not disclosed during either resolution. Therefore, in the report, I have failed to meet those responsibilities.
I think you're being too hard on yourself, to be honest with you.
Right.
Yeah. Demanding. Okay.
Okay, so is there anybody out in the public or anybody else want to make a comment? And the next meeting will probably be what? The same time in January, the second Thursday?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, if we just keep that at the same time, and everybody should remember it, the second Thursday of every month.
Yeah, I like that. Works for me.
At
But we got to
6
figure
o'clock.
out some kind of a microphone system because I really can't hear anybody in the back when they're speaking. So
Yeah, I
and
didn't
know
expect to have two folks in person, so I can bring the camera next time, that will assist in that.
okay. Oh yeah, because the camera has the mic. Got you. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay, so anything else? I like.
What?
Well, I'd like to say, but you're muted, Paul.
Oh, yeah, I see that now. Yeah, so this is what you're gonna, tell the council and stuff like this, what our goals and stuff were, and our projects were that we were working on before all this other stuff happened, and a lot of it is because we didn't have a quorum too.
Right.
And then hopefully they get a new council person on the committee as soon as they probably. Do you know if the mayor's going to do that right away to reappoint all committee members?
I don't know if she's got it on her radar yet. I'll have to ask her.
Okay, yeah, because this one here is going to need one, and then I don't know
Yeah.
who else.
They-
There's a
They
couple
all
other-
will, yeah. Some of them will roll over, but yeah, many of them will need new ones, but because we have 4 new counselors. But so the exact date of next meeting is 14 January, if anyone wanted to know.
14
Yes.
January. Okay,
Thank you.
2021.
Right.
Okay, so if there's no other public comment, then I guess we'll see you guys in probably 2021.
And Paul, thank you for your leadership and starting up this committee. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
You guys are welcome. I'm going to try to keep on, but we'll see what happens. I'll get with Brian and get a, can you email me the form we need, or
Yep, the
some way
volunteer
where I
form.
can-
Yep, I will.
yeah. And then I can just maybe have the wife download it or send it someplace where I can download it.
Well, it's a PDF fillable.
PDF
So you
fill
can,
in.
yeah, you can just fill it in and send it back.
Oh, yeah, PDF. Yeah, send a PDF and I'll send it back to you.
Okay. Anything else for the good of the quorum?
I think we, if Paul can't do it or chooses not to, Kenyon, if she's already involved with the community watch, ought to be.
I know she's probably going to be the counselor for the admin committee. I don't know if the mayor wants to double people up, but if she
Yeah,
does,
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably not. I don't know if she's gonna take any recommendations, but yeah, she don't want to double up councils unless council persons unless she really has to. So probably one of the new four, one of the four, or the new three.
I couldn't hear who she was referring to.
Counselor
Who are you
Kenyon.
talking about?
Counselor Kenyon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So, and we were
Only because she is the community watch.
right. Understand.
Okay, guys, we'll see you guys next year. Have a good year.
See ya.
Yeah, you're welcome.
everybody.
Thank you.
Okay.
Stay safe out there.
Go ahead.
Oh, always. I always make sure my kids are safe too.
That's right.